So what is intelligence? What do we know from psychology about intelligence? Intelligence has been researched by many, and normally it was considered for cognitive intelligence until 80s, where Gardner concluded that actually there's not one dimension to our intelligence. It's very pluralistic. So he thought about cognitive intelligence in reflecting, communicating, and learning abilities, but differently than than Westernized approach. Because what they've done, they concentrated on memory, language, maths processes, reasoning, language. So that's how limited in their opinion, intelligence is. But after 80s, we sort of open ourselves to an idea that, you know what, actually, I have verbal and linguistic intelligence. I also have mathematical intelligence, spatial intelligence, bodily intelligence, musical intelligence, and interpersonal intelligence, also known as emotional intelligence, meaning how you're creating relationships. So Western psychology, until this idea of multiple intelligence, has been very narrowed, but also influence education and different levels and different aspects of society. So maybe that's why you find yourself sometimes less than others, because you're comparing yourself from a different angle. I want to show you something. Islamic psychology also has been doing some maybe indirect research about multiple intelligence. And they've always connected it to the aspects of yourself. So things like nafs, qalb, fitra, aql, right? And they've seen the connection between how those particles of yourself, of your selfhood, influence your ability to develop further as a person. And then we also have very specific hadiths from the Prophet ﷺ, from his tradition, proving to you and me that we're not here to exceed at each and every level of those intelligences. Now, let me just show you what I mean. So this is it. We have different aspects of our selfhood. We have aql, fitra, qalb, nafs, and ruh. Aql is your cognition, and this is responsible for your cognitive intelligence in mainstream approach. However, in spiritual, in religious approach, we also consider moral. We also have spiritual intelligence, and this is that fitra, that innate state of yours, which sort of governs that development in your psychology, in your being. We have emotional intelligence, which resides at the level of spiritual heart, called qalb from Arabic. We have also behavioral intelligence, and that is governed by nafs, meaning your soul, but also your cranial desires in your lower nafs. There's a huge, beautiful science about nafs and qalb, also called ilmul nafs or nafsiyat. But we don't have time to do it today. We also have somatic intelligence, believe it or not, and I believe it is connected to ruh. So this, what you can see here, it is my interpretation, but I hope it is helpful. I hope now you will understand what I will say to you, that the fact that you have potential in different areas on that spectrum makes you unique. But also all those particles can help you to attain taqwa through spiritual intelligence. They also, for instance, on the level of nafs, can increase and strengthen your ibadah. Yeah, the cognitive intelligence is not necessarily only about maths and logic and how eloquent you are, how much of an achiever you are in this current civilization, but also what kind of values and virtues you apply to yourself in terms of building your character. And then straight away, it will impact your intrapersonal and intra and interpersonal intelligence, meaning how you're creating relationship with yourself and with others. Okay. Now, I truly believe that by now you are in position, you see where are you exceeding or not. What are your strengths or not? Where you failing to progress or not? And as Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that not all of us are going to progress in at all those levels, and that is absolutely okay. This is the way it is actually designed for us. We can also go to Quran and learn that everything and anyhow, any way we are created is actually from him. He decided that way. He had a will to create you that way, to give you potentials less or more in certain areas. And go back to Quran, read Surah 96 verse 5. The potential of individuals is described as we taught humanity what they knew not. Okay, so all that knowledge that comes to you is from Allah. Go back to Surah Baqarah, verse 269. He brings the wisdom to whomever he decides. So wisdom here is that intelligence, that versatile intelligence. And whoever is brought the wisdom, then he has been brought much benefits. And in no way does anyone constantly remember except the ones endowed with intellect. So look, the spiritual highs of any aspect of your being is to recognize that it's coming from him. You will be called the most intelligent in the eyes of Allah if you recognize that everything you want belongs to him. It is because of him. Okay, I hope that makes sense. And Allah increases in guidance those who seek guidance and abiding deeds or righteousness, and more rewardable by Lord and better in return. Quran verse 19, Surah 19 verse 76. Or Surah 50 verse 11, Allah will rise up by many degrees those of you who believe and those who have been given knowledge. He is fully aware of what you do. So we also have a degree of responsibility, this amana, to take it further, to develop it, to nourish it, to nurture it. And it can become your worship. It can become your ibadah as well, the way you develop yourself. It can be also with dedication to please your Lord. I hope that was helpful. I hope you get a lot out of it. And if anything, you are inspired to no longer blame and shame you, and sort of see yourself for the full picture of who you are and where your potential are. Okay, I will see you in